There we go, we're live. Good morning. Hi guys, my name is Mady Gomez. I'm with ABC Channel 10. We've been talking about the poor air quality outside. We stressed it over the weekend. We really stressed the fact that people should stay indoors unless they really have to go outside. But now I want to bring in a doctor who can actually tell us more about the air quality and how it can affect you and what you can do about it. So let's go ahead and bring in Dr. Nicole Braxley. She is with Mercy San Juan Medical Center. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us this morning. So let's talk about how bad is it out there right now?
So you might look out the window and think to yourself, oh, the air is pretty clear, but actually the particles that are out there causing damage to our lungs are so small that you can't see them. So even though the air looks more clear, please be aware that the air quality is still at a very dangerous level. And this is for all individuals. Those who are more susceptible to lung problems, such as the elderly, lung or heart disease, you have to think about pregnant patients, kids, even teenagers. Those people should definitely avoid being outside at all costs, but in general, unfortunately, the quality of air is still so bad that all of us should avoid being outside.
So we've been looking at the numbers, and for the most part, the AQI has been in between like 150 to like 200 in the past few days. And I mean, those are numbers that really you've only seen in like Shanghai, you know, in these places where they always have that really bad air quality. Let's talk about the how equivalent that is to like smoking cigarettes, because you told me something that was very shocking just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, so a great way to think about it in layperson's terms is how bad is the air quality and what would that equivalency be to me smoking cigarettes? So the calculation that you want to use is 1 cigarette is worth 22 on that air quality index. So you mentioned an air quality index of 150. So if you take 150 and divide it by 22, that's how many cigarettes you smoked for the day just by being outside in this air.
So like this weekend being outside, you talked about it being equivalent to like smoking 22 cigarettes, just being outside one day right now?
Just being outside one day over the weekend was the equivalent to smoking 22 cigarettes in one day. So again, that's not something to take lightly.
No, not at all. Have you guys seen a surge in patients right now with respiratory problems coming into the ER?
We do. The majority of patients in the uptick that we've seen are folks that already suffer from lung or heart problems, and unfortunately either they didn't have a large enough supply of medicine at home, or the medicines that they do have just aren't strong enough. But all the time during the fire season, unfortunately, we do see an uptick in these types of patients.
Let's talk about another important detail, the masks, because the masks are very important because folks are going out to their local stores. I know I did this weekend looking for a mask, but not all masks fit this problem.
So specifically, you want to look for a mask that's labeled N95.
As a matter of fact, I have it right here. Do you want to grab this? Let me go grab it and show it off real quick.
The N95 mask is different than the paper masks that you would buy just at any regular store. Here's an example. They can look different, but just look for this classification that says N95. That's going to trap out the smallest of the particles to prevent them from getting into your lungs.
Okay, and you can actually find that number on the mask. So as long as you look, you can see it's going to say N95. So make sure to get those. We do want to stress that the City of Sacramento is giving out free masks, but I know you mentioned something very important earlier.
So the City of Sacramento provided free masks for everyone. They're at the local fire departments, but they ran out this weekend. So here's the ask of the City of Sacramento. Number one, if you're not going to go outside and you don't need to go outside, please don't go to the fire department just to pick up a mask. Number two, if you can afford to purchase your own mask, please do so. That leaves more masks for those who may not have the funds to purchase them. So again, the City of Sacramento has restocked them. They are available at the fire departments, but if you have means to get a mask another way, please do so so we can save them for the people who really need them.
Thank you so much. Any other important information people need to know out there?
Just be careful. If you have access to the internet, I think it's great to check the air quality. There's an air quality index number that's published by the EPA. It's updated multiple times throughout the day. You can trust that. That's a great resource to look at. In fact, when I checked it last night, so many people were on the website that portions of the website had crashed. So you can believe it, trust it, just keep an eye out, listen to the news, and I'm sure that these guys will keep us updated as to when the weather has cleared and it's safe to go back outside.
And real quick, folks that we we really need to look out for and really take care of right now with the poor air quality?
So you want to think of the elderly, you want to think of anyone who has a history of lung or heart problems, and in that category is actually people with diabetes, as they are more susceptible to lung and heart disease. You want to think about children, and this includes teenagers. Teenagers are children, and they should be indoors. They should not be playing sports outside. They should not be spending recess outside, unfortunately. And then the final category of susceptible people are pregnant women, because that air is bad for their lungs and could potentially expose their fetus to poor air quality.
And the last point, because I know you have to go, you mentioned the particles, just how small these bad particles are. You told me that earlier. Yes, that's shocking to know.
Yes. So if you think of a single strand of your hair, that is 10 micrograms. The particle size that we're talking about is 2.5 micrograms. So take a single strand of hair and split it into quarters. And that's what size particles you're talking about. So that's why you may look out the window and think that it looks very clear, but those particles are so small that you actually can't see them unless you have a very small microscope. So don't trust just looking out the window. Make sure you check your resources, check the news, check the website, and that will help guide you as to when you can know that the air is safe.
And you are so strong. I know, this hospital is obviously intact. We're here in Sacramento, but the hospital up in Paradise, you guys are part of that system as well. You have you guys are Mercy and San Juan Medical Center, but part of that hospital is actually burnt down.
So our group actually just runs the emergency department for that hospital up in Paradise, and so that's how I'm a little bit more familiar with it. But yes, as far as I've been following, portions of the hospital unfortunately are affected. However, all of the patients were safely moved thanks to the actions of the staff, physicians and nurses of the hospital who physically moved those patients out. And then thanks also to the other local hospitals that took in that extra patient load during the time of need.
I know everybody here is thinking about all the patients and of course all the staff at that hospital. Thank you so much. I know you have to go, so thank you for taking the time to talk to me today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Appreciate
and thank you guys. We're going to have more on this.